But he is going to be met hard and met fast by number 31 of that defense, Darrell Green, a name that I have said again and again tonight. Darrell Green making a huge tackle.
Welcome to 24-Hour Sports Show, and now I'm here with Darrell Green. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And today I just want to talk about Baker Mayfield, the rise and fall and rise again of Baker Mayfield. It's just interesting to see how he played in that game. I thought he played exceptionally well. To come out there, they started the game with John Walford, and then they transitioned into Baker Mayfield playing. And just to come out there, the first pass was on point. And it's three things I saw from Baker Mayfield in this game. I saw leadership. I saw him lead an offense that he just got on this week. He just got onto the team this week, and I still saw leadership. I saw velocity on his throws, and I just saw accuracy. I saw velocity, accuracy, and leadership. I saw all three of those things, and he really just looked on par to be able to come in and run an offense. There's no doubt that Baker Mayfield has talent. And we've been hard on Baker Mayfield. I've been hard on Baker Mayfield. But seeing how he played last night amongst everything, and let's look at some of his receivers. A guy like Tutu Atwell who runs that 4-2. I think that was on display. We saw jet sweeps. We saw different types of routes. We saw deep routes. We saw intermediate routes. And we saw a lot out of Tutu Atwell. But there's another guy that I don't want to spotlight out of that game. And mind me if I butcher this name, but the guy that I seen, Ben Skowronek. I can't even pronounce his name, but number 18 for the Los Angeles Rams, he balled out. And it just seemed like they had a connection. It seemed like they've been playing for a minute. I mean, he hit him across the middle a couple times, and they just had special connections, special completions. And, they ran the ball. They didn't run the ball fairly well, but I'm focused on Baker Mayfield, just looking at him. And it's not to say that he has a future in Los Angeles, because I know they're going with Matthew Stafford. But when we're getting into the free agency, if he can play good in these next stretch of games, I believe he can find himself getting onto a good team, a solid team who needs a quarterback for the future. And he can really make that case right now. He's in a good position. It's hard to see any scenario where they could possibly make the playoffs, especially in that division with Seattle, with San Francisco. But still, Baker Mayfield looking like the guy that the Cleveland Browns drafted. And it's good to see, because watching him at Oklahoma, I got some nostalgia. Thinking that Baker Mayfield was playing again in Oklahoma last night. And looking at how the game turned out, a lot of people weren't fans of the 2 penalty flags on the game-winning drive by Baker Mayfield. First time they got a pass interference, then they got an unsportsmanlike conduct, and that was 15 yards. Everything played out. It was kind of like a Cinderella story. It was kind of like something we couldn't imagine, but it's like a movie scene. It was really a movie scene type game for Baker Mayfield. And to come out there and win that game, it's all accredited to him. It's accredited to the Raiders being bad. It's like every time I try to believe in the Raiders, they do certain things like the Raiders. I believe it is time for a new head coach in Las Vegas, but that's here nor there. Going back to Baker Mayfield, I just think he played pretty good. And all night he was under pressure. We know that offensive line isn't good for Los Angeles. He was under pressure, making throws on the run, escaping pressure, just being good, being a good quarterback. I'm actually confident in what I saw last night from Baker Mayfield. If I had to give him a grade, I would give him anywhere from a B+ to an A. I seriously would. In the game-winning drive, the ball to Tutu Atwell, perfect on the money. And it's just a good game. I'm excited. This was a season that we thought was thrown away for the Los Angeles Rams. But with Baker Mayfield coming in there, just the energy. We see a lot of guys talk about quarterbacks and how do you make your teammates feel? How do you make your teammates play? Baker Mayfield has that energy. If Baker Mayfield's my quarterback, I'm ready to play football. I'm ready to play. He hasn't always performed well. We're looking at Cleveland. He had one good season. His rookie season was decent. And then that one season when they went to the playoffs and they beat Pittsburgh in the wild card, that was the season that was really, really good for him. And then after that, ever since that injury, he just hasn't quite been the same. And I mean, he played through that injury. I don't know how much good of a decision that really was to play through that injury, but he did it anyway. And I think that has accredited to some of the non-success that he's had going to Carolina. no quarterback can play good in Carolina right now. It's just a lot of things that need to be done. You know, they're looking for a new head coach. Matt Rule being fired. It's just not a good scenario. It's not a good situation for him. They don't know what direction they want to take that franchise in, and it's hard for any quarterback to succeed in that. Baker Mayfield has had a lot of head coaches, and he has had a lot of offensive coordinators. I just want to see Baker Mayfield in a situation where he gets a team that's confident in him. If he gets a team that's confident in him, we're building this team around. And you can say Cleveland. You can say Cleveland was that team, but they got Deshaun Watson. Anytime a guy like Deshaun Watson comes on the market, you're going. It's just not a lot of room for Deshaun Watson. Is in that elite tier of quarterbacks, and Baker Mayfield is just, he's not on that type of level. He can be a good starter. He can be a playoff starter. But to say he's on a level like a Deshaun Watson, like those other top tier quarterbacks, that's kind of far-fetched. But I just believe if he would have stayed in Cleveland, there could have been some success there. We've seen the success there. Minus the season that he was hurt, he's been successful there. And he hasn't played a lot of good football recently, hasn't played a lot of good football in Carolina. But last night, I saw it all from Baker Mayfield. I saw the throws, I saw the velocity, I saw the leadership, I saw the passion, and I'm just interested to see what I'm going to see moving forward.